Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Wednesday, August 20th. So, what are we talking about today? I thought we'd talk about things that where you touch something and then if anything else goes wrong, automatically it's your fault as a repair shop and how to deal with that. So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back to the channel. My name is Eric, and yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Wednesday, August 20th of 2025. So, what are we talking about here? I'm talking about you have a machine come in for one thing, and you do the repairs, and then you kick it out, and then the day later, a customer calls and said that else is wrong that had nothing to do with what you did, but they expect you to cover the cost and do the repairs, and if not, you're a shoddy repair shop. Now, this is twofold. This is why when you're doing your diagnostic and you're doing your front to back, you're not going to catch everything. Nobody is 100% spot on. Nobody's perfect. And things get cut loose when they shouldn't. Okay? In those situations where it's something that I missed or Claude missed, a lot of times I'll give in and do the labor for free, but any parts will cost the customer just to keep them happy. But if it came in just for a service and you did a service on it, and I mean, it's running and driving, but the next day when he goes to mow his yard, he blows a head gasket on the unit, not himself. You know damn well they're going to be calling you saying, you didn't fix my problem. And I learned this when I got a bachelor's degree in IT and I started working on computers and stuff in the beginning. Didn't want nothing to do with it because anytime I put my hands on a keyboard on anybody's computer, anything went wrong from that point on had to be my fault. And it wasn't. It was operator error. And a lot of times when we cut stuff loose and something happens, even though it had nothing to do with what we were doing, should we have caught it? When somebody says just do a service on my lawnmower, that doesn't mean just an oil change and this. I mean, it can be. And you can probably get away with it probably 90% of the time of just doing what the customer tells you they want. But if you're trying to look, optics mean everything in this business. And your reputation means everything. And Jason, you said it well in your piece that you wrote, that good mechanics will always have work. I wish that were true because I consider Claude a good mechanic and we're like this, right? But I'm blessed to have any of the work that we have. But in the same sense, who should be responsible for any repairs that are beyond the given? And that's why I stress that when you're doing your diagnostic, the $45 or whatever you charge, don't just look at a service because customers don't always know what's best. You're the shop. You should. And if you're doing a front to back, it's not hard to hear if you have a head gasket going. You hear a poof noise, pss, 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 like that. That is a good indicator that you have, girls, that you have a head gasket going. Don't cut it loose until you talk to the customer and explain to them you have other problems. And the head gasket, I mean, let's be honest, you guys that are mechanics and stuff, swapping out a head gasket isn't rocket science. You know, you need to make sure everything is torqued good, make sure the head gasket's in there. But to pop off the head and put a new head gasket in it, bolt it back down, torque it back down, isn't going to take that long. And the cost of head gaskets, what are they? Anywhere from $16 to $19. for most Briggs and Kawasaki engines and stuff like that. This needs to be done in your diagnostic phase of writing down things that you see that need attention. I don't care if the customer said all I want is an oil change, because Claude and I have had this battle before. Well, all he wants is just an oil change. I'm like, this isn't leaving the shop unless it's fixed right. I would rather eat some of the bill than send out something that wasn't right. Because if it goes out and it wasn't right, what do we talk about when it comes to your best advertising? Your best advertising are happy customers. Ones that feel like you treated them fairly. Right? But your worst advertisers are the ones that didn't feel like they got, a good, fair handshake in the deal. So, my stamp from my reputation in my shop before it leaves my shop, I can't guarantee 100%, but I can say that we went front to back on it, and this is what we found, and this is what we fixed. Now, if the customer says I don't want it fixed, that's on them, right? Because you brought it to their attention, you've told them what it needs, and you know it's going to be a problem. If it's something that isn't expensive, that's inexpensive, and doesn't take a lot of time, and the customer is still balking, go ahead and do it. Just do it and do it right. And then, I don't want to say eat it, but just pat it into the bill. It's easy as peasy if you're doing the billing. See, as a shop owner or the one writing the bills and stuff, you have a lot of control of the purse, right? So if I have a customer that doesn't want to spend a lot of money in parts, then I just add it into the labor. And what do you mean by adding it into the labor? I mean, if you got a $16 head gasket and it's going to take half an hour to swap it out, I go ahead and I charge them an hour and a half, and that will cover that gasket and anything that you need in between, right? That's what I mean by padding the bill. It's not adding on to the bill because you're trying to do business based on dollars and cents. You're trying to do business based on reputation, optics, and the final product going outside your doors, if that makes any sense. Because optics is everything. It will either make or break you. I mean, you're not going to please everybody. Let's put that right out there right now. I probably got enough to count on both hands and maybe a couple toes of people that have been pissed off at me over the years because of something that they felt that we should have known or covered or what have you. And I held the line on those individuals. Claude says I'm too easy. I mean, we've got a John Deere tractor that just came in, and we put it's got a primary and then a secondary hydraulic pump. The primary builds pressure, hits to the secondary, and the secondary increases pressure once again. We replaced the internal. We had to split the tractor to get to the primary hydraulic pump. And we bought an aftermarket. Put it in. It blew apart within 2 days. We tried it before it went back to the customer. Split it again. Ordered another one. Put it in. That one was twice the charm, they say. Everything worked. Everything was working good. So now, bring it to present day. They dropped it off here the other night and said it's doing the same thing. Okay. I know that they're looking for a warranty on that part and it's 2 years out. He's been using it for 2 years, brush hogging, plowing, raking, baling, and everything. I mean, you're going to get those customers that once you put your hands on it, you own it, right? In this case, we'll take a look at it. Because at this point, it could be a hydraulic filter is plugged that needs to be drained and new fluid put in it, because the John Deeres are very, very finicky. You got to use 10W 30 weight and not straight hydraulic, because hydraulic will collapse the filter in it, because it's not made for the heavier grade oils. But you're going to have customers that bring stuff back that they say, well, you worked on it and it's not working, so you should be responsible for it. Now, if it just left the shop or a couple days out, that's where it's kind of that gray area where it's customer by customer. But if you start getting weeks out, and because you don't know what that person is doing with that mower, tractor, tiller, what have you, once it leaves the door, you have no control over how it's being operated, right? We just had another one. We ended up, a friend of ours, she had an engine with no compression for her little rear tine Troy-Bilt rototiller. So we talked her into going with the Predator from Harbor Freight. Put it on last year. She used it all last year. This year, she couldn't, I don't know what she's doing, but she went through 2 reverse belts. And Claude told her, just go forward instead of trying to back up all the time. So it showed up to the shop yesterday because she took out the front drive belt. It makes you wonder, what the heck is she doing with that rototiller that she's taking out belts like crazy? Her husband is like, well, maybe the holes are out of alignment. We'll take a look at it, but it looked pretty true when we put the belts on. I will look at it. But there's another case. You did it a year ago, and now they're having problems where it's eating belts. Should you be responsible for the belts and the labor to fix it? I say no. Not one iota. Even though you feel compelled to, want to help that customer, if you start doing freebies, and that's what I call it, freebies, you're teaching that customer that if they have an issue, that you're going to fix it every time. And for free. And when you do finally bill them, they're going to be pissed. I'd like to hear from you guys that are running shops, especially you, Jason. How do you approach it with a customer and stuff like that, with stuff that you've worked on and you've let go and you knew that was in, but something else developed, and how you handle it? Because, of course, you're putting in too many hours. If you're going 7 in the morning till 7 at night, you need to shorten your time span. And maybe what you're saying, if you're a really good mechanic, you'll always have work backed right up. Maybe we're doing it wrong. Maybe you should be the one with the YouTube video so we can learn from you. No, I'm not complaining. We got steady work, but it's not where we're backing up. We've got, what's in the driveway? We got a tractor that needs to have a front tire put on it, 4-wheel drive unit. A bale spirit needs to be bent back. A rear tire that needs to have new bolts put into it. They're like 4.5-inch bolts for the rear tire on a tractor. We got a steering arm that we got to get sent to PA, and then pick up one that's coming from PA, put that in. We've got a skid steer that we found a hydraulic leak on one of the hoses after pressure washing it like 5-6 times. The hose was 117. Well, we got that back in. We just need to get some more hydraulic fluid so that we can check to see if we did fix the right hose. We've got a Husqvarna that needs work. We've got a Cub Cadet with a Troy-Bilt. We're going to try doing a motor swap for those. Like I said, we've got work. I've got a Ford tractor that I got to go look at. Got a skid steer that won't start for a guy. I got a old John Deere dozer that the guy can't get it to work. It's a points condenser type thing. Uh, there's a list of things that are there, keep us busy. But we're not backed up. The jobs that I like, to be honest with you, are like the services and that stuff because you can knock them out quick and you get quick cash, what I call. Most of the other projects that we take on, we're tying it up for weeks, waiting for parts or this or that. It's a bigger chunk of money, 12 to 1500 instead of 200, but still it's the weight on trying to get everything together. And I can give you an example of how much stuff has gone up. We have a tire guy, my guy, and because we don't do the tractor tires. We've got a guy who's done it for years, same age as me, maybe a couple of years younger, but he's awesome. But the front tire on that tractor 2 years ago was 89 plus 40 for the install was 120. And now with the new tariffs and like that same tire costs $300 installed. That's how much of a jump. And farmers are going to be feeling that too. Because the farm tractor business, the imports. So in the comments, let me know what you see is going on at your shop and how you handle these issues of not catching something before it goes out the door. Or it was in good shape when it left and something else developed, not even remotely to what you were doing. See, a lot of times I have the tendency of just like, let's just go ahead and fix it. But Claude's like, no. We don't work for free. Nobody expects us to work for free, and I'm not working for free. But he never does work for free because he gets paid. I pay him hourly. So you guys have a great Wednesday. And like I say, put in the comments what you think when it comes to that kind of stuff. Doing a good job in the beginning will save you a lot of headaches at the end. If somebody says they want just a service, still, it's your shop. Do it front to back. Make a list of stuff that it needs. Bring it to the customer's attention. If they opt to not want to do anything about X, Y, and Z, it's on them. You've got written documentation that you did see it. You did bring it to their attention. And they really didn't want to put the money into it. And going back to that, ATV and stuff, $250 ain't squat when it comes to ATVs. So it must have been a POS if he wasn't willing to put the $250 in. I just sold the 2002. I was just looking to get my money back out of it. We had a customer that bought it. Had us put new brakes on it, new starter on it, new battery in it, new CV joints, front and back. We did the hill on that thing. And then his wife couldn't steer it because she didn't have enough upper body strength. So what I ended up doing was buying it from them. Because I had found them one that had power steering, less CCs, perfect for what she wanted. And I said, here, I'll buy this one off you. Go get that one. So they went and got that one, and she loves it. Moral of the story was, a year later, I still had that four-wheeler. So I put it on to Facebook Marketplace for $1,200 just to get what I had in it. And within 5 minutes, I had over 15 people asking me about coming and looking at it. Or I'll take it. I'll be out tonight at 6, at 4:30. So we ended up letting that four-wheeler, I sold it to the first person that showed up. And for actually $50 less, I took $11.50 for it. And I got a message from him yesterday saying that, did we notice that there's a head gasket or something not right because it's making a noise? He tried it. He drove it. He did everything here. And I can say, because Club won't get into engines anyways when it comes to that stuff, that it wasn't making any noise or doing any issues when it was right here running. It popped right off, drove it around, drove her up onto the ramp, straight in the back of his pickup truck. Do I need to make good on it? No. When you're buying it as is, where is. And $1,200 for ATV is a parts machine. Did I know of any issue before it left? Absolutely not. We went through it front to back. Could something else have developed since he's gotten it? Yep. But I don't feel that it's my problem. And it's not my problem unless I decide to make it my problem. And that's something I'm going to leave you with today. You have enough problems of your own where you don't need to take on everybody else's problems. You know, like I said, there was 14 other people that were knocking my door down wanting that four-wheeler. And most of them figured there was something wrong with it for the price. I told them, no, nothing that I know of. So let me know what you guys are doing in your shop and how you deal with all this. I get just as much from you guys as you guys get from me. You know, it's a two-way street here, and it's greatly appreciated. And the support that I've seen over the years is greatly appreciated. You know, I feel blessed to be able to say that I am allowed to be part of you guys' lives. And you guys are a big part of my life. Whether you want to, I'm not going to get all gushy-gushy or mushy-mushy. Just stating the facts that you guys are good therapy, and hopefully I'm giving you something back. On that note, you guys have a good Wednesday.